This is unreal, man. Dude, I'm so mad. Dude, it's like, you're going to do what we want, or we're going to infect you with some shit to force you to do it. Do what we want, or we're going to break into your store and steal all your shit. Do what we want, or we're going to take your kids. Man, what the fuck? How did this happen? Apparently, the tick that makes people allergic to meat is real. And one thing that scares me so much about this is that this tick actually lives where I live. This tick is found in Texas. The tick was made in a lab. Wait, you really think so? Now you have my attention. Is this a conspiracy from them vegans?
Of 2024, a 47-year-old airline pilot from New Jersey was camping with his wife and children. After eating a beef steak for dinner, he awoke in the middle of the night with stomach pains, along with other symptoms, including vomiting and diarrhea.
What the hell?
In the end, his symptoms cleared up, and he decided against going to a doctor, even though earlier in the summer, he had told his wife about the presence of 12 tick bites on his ankles. And whatever those ticks had done, the airline pilot concluded it probably wasn't life-threatening. And then just 2 weeks later, the man attended a barbecue with his wife where he ate a hamburger, and within 4 hours, he was unconscious on the floor of his bathroom. Paramedics tried to revive him, but it was too late. He was dead. Now, initially, the death was recorded as unexplained, but the man's doctor wasn't happy with that explanation, so he sent his blood work to an allergy specialist who quickly identified the cause. The airline pilot had contracted a tick-borne meat allergy known as alpha-gal syndrome, or AGS, which, until this particular case, was not considered fatal. In fact, you'll find plenty of scientific journal articles referring to AGS as a non-fatal allergy, but this 47-year-old airline pilot, for the first time in recorded history, had proven otherwise. He became the first reported fatality of AGS anywhere in the world. Watch.
Do you want to know the sad thing about this, chat? I would totally believe that vegans would do this. I actually think that if vegans could, they would do this. 100%. I think they're the type of people that would do this. 100%.
Its allergy to meat, including beef, lamb, and pork, tonight is linked to its first death. A 47-year-old New Jersey man ate a burger in 2024 and died 4 hours later.
God.
2 weeks earlier, he got sick after eating a steak.
It really illustrates the need for education, because when he had the very severe episode of abdominal pain, they had no sense that that could be anaphylaxis.
University of Virginia's Dr. Thomas Platts Mills identified the death and the allergy behind it. It's called alpha-gal syndrome. It usually starts with a bite from a Lone Star tick.
So you're telling me this is because of alpha women? Is that what you're telling me? That women caused this?
That sensitizes a person's immune system to a sugar molecule found in the meat of mammals called alpha-gal. Reactions can include hives, nausea, and life-threatening anaphylaxis. Debbie Nickel lives with alpha-gal.
I would wake up in the middle of the night with this extraordinary stomach pain.
One of 450,000 Americans with the tick-induced meat allergy.
From the time of onset to my diagnosis in 2019, it was probably 11 or 12 years.
And your doctor even went so far as to remove your gallbladder?
That's correct.
So as you heard, hundreds of thousands of people are suffering from AGS, otherwise known as the red meat allergy.
This is so
scary.
None
of these hundreds of thousands of people have died as a result of this allergy, although they've had serious complications. So a lot of important questions need to be answered at this point, starting with what, if anything, was different about this particular victim? How many more victims might be out there who haven't been diagnosed through a post-mortem allergy test? In other words,
have any of you guys ever been bit by a tick? I've never been bit by a tick in my whole life. At least I don't think so. I know it's possible that I did and I just didn't know, but I've never seen a tick on me, like, ever.
Is he the only person who has died from it? And maybe most importantly, what exactly is AGS and where did it come from? Now, these are questions that most medical professionals can't begin to answer. In surveys, a majority of doctors report they have no idea how to diagnose or treat the disorder. And that's not surprising, because alpha-gal syndrome was discovered just a few decades ago during clinical trials for a drug that was intended to treat cancer. So here's the story of that discovery, as I understand it anyway. Some patients enrolled in the clinical trial took the cancer drug and then developed hives immediately after receiving the first IV dose. The patients had somehow developed antibodies to the drug before they ever took it. It turns out that these particular patients were from the same area of the country where the Lone Star tick is common, mainly the East and South Central United States. On top of that, the researchers realized that the cancer drug, because it was grown in mouse cells, contained a sugar molecule called alpha-gal, which the Lone Star tick transmits to humans. So it appeared as though patients had been bitten by ticks, developed a sensitivity to the sugar molecule, and then overdosed when the sugar molecule was administered via an IV. So to be clear, Alpha-gal is not man-made. It's sugar that exists in the cells of most mammals, with the exception of humans. When it enters our body, our immune system treats it like a foreign pathogen and triggers a serious overreaction. But you might wonder, if alpha-gal has been around for zillions of years, why exactly did it take so long for scientists to realize that ticks can cause a meat allergy by transmitting alpha-gal? Well, the official explanation is that normally when you have an allergic reaction, the symptoms appear pretty quickly. If you get stung by a bee, for example, you'll be showing symptoms within 2 hours maximum. But with alpha-gal, it's different. The sugar is stored in fat, and it takes a while to digest the fat. So you might eat a hamburger, have no obvious reaction, and then die 4 hours later. And given that time frame, nobody would suspect an allergic reaction to a hamburger. And it wasn't until this cancer trial where the drug was administered by an IV that the link between alpha-gal and the allergic reaction became obvious. So that's the official explanation. I have no reason to doubt any of this background information, most of which I looked up online last night, admittedly. I'm willing to accept that in medicine, significant discoveries aren't easy. Sometimes they happen by chance. Sometimes novel diseases are discovered while researchers are working on a completely separate treatment. All that stuff does happen. Of course, it's also the case, as we learned during COVID, that sometimes novel diseases are created under the same circumstances. And then there's a massive cover-up to prevent anyone from learning the truth.
So true.
In service of a broader political agenda. But in general, there's no evidence that I can find that would suggest that AGS was just invented in a lab in the way that COVID was. Now, at the same time, there is very clear evidence that some of the world's leading scientists want to spread AGS as much as possible.
Wait, what?
Okay, and you don't need to be conspiracy theorists to say that, because they've been very open about this fact. These scientists want people to get infected with this meat allergy so they stop eating meat, on the theory that if people stop eating meat, then the climate will stop changing and the...
I gotta calm down, because the first thing that happened, and this never happens to me, by the way, this is like very rare. I usually am a very calm person, and I usually, I don't really advocate for like bad things. But the very, very first thing that I thought was blood, I will say. Very, very first thing I thought.
Animals will be saved and we can all live in paradise.
I don't advocate for that. I'm saying those were my intrusive thoughts.
Or whatever. Now, in a moment, we'll go through some of these scientific papers and public conferences where scientists have made this argument as deranged and unethical as it obviously
I fucking hate
is.
these people.
But first, I want to address anyone who says that, well, you're venturing into the realm of conspiracy theories here.
Yep.
I will acknowledge that in an ideal world, I wouldn't have to raise any of these questions. In an ideal world, our public health establishment would be completely trustworthy, and we'd have no reason to think that they'd lie to us about their role in the deaths of innocent Americans. I mean, the idea that they would try to spread something intentionally to get people infected. In an ideal world, it's like you wouldn't even consider that. It's crazy. Crazy talk. But we all remember COVID. We all remember how the corporate media cited scientists who insisted the coronavirus was not made in a lab. We all remember the relentless censorship.
You guys remember they told everyone that it was racist? They said that if you thought that it came from a lab, that you were a racist. You remember that shit? Wow, you're a racist conspiracy theorist, man.
In the end, that the same scientists who told us to shut up were in fact the ones who funded the creation of the virus in Wuhan. Our scientific and medical institutions have been captured by an ideology that, above all, has nothing to do with public health. This is an anti-human ideology. This is the problem when you have public health, when quote-unquote public health is captured by people who are anti-human.
Yep.
And what it's really about is centralizing control over world affairs. That's why they didn't want the WHO to be implicated in COVID, even though they covered up what China was doing. That's why they implemented mass lockdowns. That's why they lied about creating the virus in China with international funding. And that's why, even though it's quite possible that there's nothing nefarious about what just happened in New Jersey or about the fact that this AGS syndrome seems to be spreading.
Dude, for me, I don't know about you guys, but I've always felt that a lot of these like health expert people, and I don't mean like your average doctor. Like, I think your average doctor is probably a good person that really is trying to do the best for humanity. But like these big idea, I've always not trusted them. I've always thought that they were full of shit. I thought this ever since the don't eat butter and don't eat meat fat. Eat vegetable oils and eat lots of margarine. Margarine, very good for you. You know what bad for you? Eggs bad. Animal fat bad. Butter bad. Eat more corn oil and shortening and margarine. Holy fuck. I can't believe it's not butter. Man. Yeah, and ever since all that shit, and then they go, oh, just kidding. All the trans fats we told you guys to eat, Yeah, actually, that's killing you guys. My bad. So sorry. So sorry. My bad. Like, holy crap. It like almost seems like if you do. Oh, you guys remember this one? Who remembers this one? When we eat foods, we should eat lots of cereal. Lots of cereal and bread. Only little tiny bit of meat. Little tiny bit of meat, like a deck of cards. Deck of cards. The amount of meat, the amount of steak you should eat should be the size of a deck of cards, but you should have a fuck ton of bread. Man, who remembers that shit? My goodness. And they want to tell us, like, and then they're gonna say, oh, my bad, my bad. Guys, if you just follow our health prescriptions, because we know all about health, and if we follow these rules, everything will be more healthy. Man, whatever.
More recently,
The Dread Pirate, thank you so much for the sub on Kick. Thank you.
seems to be exploding. It's possible. There's nothing nefarious about it.
Then they said it's good to eat eggs.
Still not.
Yeah, they said bad to eat eggs, good to eat eggs, bad to eat eggs, good to be. They can't make up their fucking mind. It almost feels like to me that if you do the opposite of what they say, that you'll be better off.
Not crazy if you think that there might be more to the story. And, you know, just asking questions gets a bad rap these days. But this is one of those times when, yeah, we should ask questions. And that becomes more true and more apparent when you listen to what some of the alleged experts have been saying about meat allergies in particular. So we'll start with the words of Matthew Lau, the bioethics expert who worked at NYU, Oxford, Hopkins, Georgetown, and Princeton. So his work has heavily influenced the World Economic Forum as well. This is not just some random guy. In papers as well as public appearances, Lau has advocated for artificially inducing meat intolerance as a way to prevent the weather from changing. Watch.
I want to consider a class of solutions that have never been considered before. Human engineering. It involves the biomedical modification of human beings. I'll give 4 examples. Here's one. 18% of greenhouse gas emissions come from livestock farming. So if we eat less meat, we could significantly reduce our greenhouse gas emissions. Now, some people would be willing to eat less meat, but they lack the willpower. Human engineering could help. Just as some people are naturally intolerant to milk or crayfish, like myself, we could artificially induce mild intolerance to meat.
Well, at least they're saying it out loud. At least they're saying it out loud, you know? I mean, thank you. Thank you for telling us all the plan. Dude, you know what sucks, chat? You know what sucks? I'm gonna tell you something that sucks. I really want to be a peaceful individual that is like coexistence. You know, you do you, I do me. You know, you want to not eat meat, that's fine. I'm okay with that. I'm gonna keep eating meat, but you know what? You do you, right? You know, that's fine. Yeah, you want to do some crazy shit to yourself? Yeah, fine. You know, whatever. Go ahead, do that. Just leave me out of it. You know, you leave me out of it, it's okay. We're good. You can do whatever you want. And I really want to be that live and, you know, let live person. You know, you want to go have your little communist commune. That's fine. I have no problem with that. Sure. Go ahead. Go live in a big group. Go have like your group of 50 people and do your little commie thing. And you guys have your little commie village. Like, I'm okay with that. Whatever. Right. They keep coming for me, chat. They keep coming for me and coming for you over and over and over again. And I'm just like, listen, you do your thing. I do my thing. And that's it. You just leave me the fuck alone. Leave me the fuck alone. You don't want to have guns? That's fine. You don't have guns. I'll have guns. Whatever. You don't want to eat meat? Go ahead. You go eat celery. I'm okay with that. Whatever floats your boat. You want to have like your you want to teach your kids. You want to teach your kids in the privacy of like your own home, your own group. You want to teach them all about drag queens. Teach your kid that everything is about being gay all the time. Okay, fine. You do that in your own thing, right? Like, why you keep coming for me? Why you keep trying to force me to be a part of your shit all the time? Why? Why don't you just leave me the fuck alone? Yeah, I just want to grill. Yeah, exactly, Tommy. I just want to grill. I just want to grill and play video games. You know, the video games that I like. The video games that I like, the video games that everyone else likes. I just want to be left alone. You go do your thing. You do your touchy-feely grab ass in your own time, your own space. You just leave me alone. And more and more and more, they just keep coming. They won't fucking stop. They're just always bothering me. Always bothering me, never stopping. Always with their bitch ass shit. Always you gotta accommodate for me. Always you gotta accommodate for me some more. I gotta pray in the middle of the street because it's my right. It's my right to block all the traffic because I feel like it, because I'm feeling mad today. It's my right to go to your museums and throw tomato soup on your paintings because the climate. Always getting up in my shit all the time. You know what I mean, chat? I'm fucking sick and tired of it. And I honestly, and it's gotten to the point where they're like, nah, they want to freaking kill you too. They want to like freaking infect you with diseases so that you're forced by force to do what they want. Motherfuck. Cowboys rise up.
By stimulating our immune system against common bovine proteins. And in this way, we can create an aversion to eating eco and friendly
This is so fucking
food.
nasty. Dude, the way he like smiles like a fucking psycho while he's saying this. This is unreal, man. This is so fucking crazy. Dude, I'm so mad. Dude, it's like, you're gonna do what we want, or we're gonna infect you with some shit to force you to do it. Do what we want, or we're gonna break into your store and steal all your shit. Do what we want, or we're gonna take your kids. Do what we want, or we're gonna kill you. Bro, I'm glowing, dude. I'm fucking glowing right now. I'm so pissed. I'm so tired of this, dude, honestly. And I'm kind of thinking like, man, I really want to coexist with these people, but why do they keep coming after me? Why do they keep coming after our shit? All I ask is for you to leave me alone.
And we can do this, for example, by having meat patches, kind of like nicotine patches. People can then wear these patches before they go out for dinner to curb their enthusiasm for eating meat.
So the crowd's into it. It's apparently a real crowd pleaser to talk about genetically modifying humans so they don't want meat. In that clip, as you saw, talks about creating nicotine-style pouches for people who eat meat, meaning, pretty much every human alive would have to have this patch. But in other clips, you'll hear these scientists directly refer to the Lone Star tick as one way of shutting down meat consumption. Watch.
So I'll give two examples. So one is that people eat too much meat, right? And if they were to cut down on their consumption on meat, then it would actually really help the planet. But people are not willing to give up meat. Yeah, some people will be willing to, but other people, they may be willing to, but they have a weakness of will. They say, wow, this steak is just too juicy.
Or what if you flip this for a second, okay? What if you flip this for a second? Hey guys, we should infect mosquitoes with a thing that makes you less gay. How do you feel about that? Less gay. Yeah, we can infect the mosquitoes with the anti-gay. Look at these fucking people, dude.
I'm one of those, by the way.
Listen to these people. They wanna.
So, but so here's the thought, right? So it turns out that we know a lot about, we have these intolerance to, for example, I have milk intolerance. And some people are intolerant to crayfish. So possibly we can use human engineering to...
Skill issue. Just eat the ice cream and take a shit. Just eat the ice cream and take a shit.
Make it the case that we're intolerant to certain kinds of meat, to certain kinds of bovine proteins. And there's actually analogs of this in life. There's this thing called the Lone Star.
Wait, is this guy fucking salty because he can't drink milk? He can't drink milk, so he's just like, fuck all cows.
Tick, where if it bites you, you'll become allergic to meat.
Supervillain origin. The supervillain origin. No, I was the only kid in the class. And the teacher would walk around and pass around the cartons of milk and chocolate milk on Fridays. And I remember all my friends, all my classmates drinking that chocolate milk with a smile on their faces. And I knew I couldn't do it. So now no one will have cow products.
Mechanism. So that's something that we can do through human engineering. We can kind of
possibly address... If I can't have cow, no one will.
Really big world problems through human engineering.
So it might be easy to dismiss these suggestions as the rantings of a crackpot, but the truth is,
he's like, fucking crackhead.
This is not a fringe view among elites or in the field of bioethics. For example, you'll find this paragraph right now on the website of the World Economic Forum. Quote, making the transition from mass-produced animal proteins to plant-based alternatives is not just necessary to meet population demands, the latter have also been linked with a smaller carbon footprint and a lower disease risk. It's not enough, though, to produce sustainable plant-based alternatives, but to alter human perception so that more people are willing to make the change. Well, that's a little ominous. It's not enough to produce alternatives to meat. says the WEF. We have to alter human perception. Presumably, that means we have to beg people to eat inedible garbage like the Impossible Burger and all that stuff. But what happens when those solutions fail? What happens when the stock of Beyond Meat...
Did I tell you guys the story about how I had an Impossible Burger? Do you guys know that story? I went to the, I think I was going to Japan. Actually, I was on the way to Japan. And there was a Burger King, and this is when they had the Impossible Whopper. And I remember saying, it's the Impossible Whopper. Try the new vegetable-based Whopper. It doesn't taste like meat. So I go up there. I'm kind of interested in trying it. Yeah, I'd like a Whopper, Impossible Whopper. The person's like, okay, yeah. Anything else? I was like, yeah. Can I get some extra onions on it? Yeah, sure. Anything else? Yeah. Can you make it a double? Like a double Impossible Whopper? But then like the second patty, make it like beef. And they were like, what? I was like, yeah. I wanna cancel out the veganism, you know? So I had an Impossible Whopper with one half Impossible and the other half was beef. Just so I can try it out.
Tanks by 80% in 1 year.
It was okay, actually. It wasn't too bad. Honestly, the Impossible Burger wasn't too bad. It was okay. I mean, it was all right. It wasn't terrible, actually.
Horrible, and nobody wants them. Is that the point where, for the greater good, you start forcing the issue? Now, there are several prominent experts in the field of bioethics who would answer that question in the affirmative, proudly. Parker Crutchfield is one of them. He's a professor at Western Michigan's medical school. This is a direct quote from one of his peer-reviewed papers, which was written with a co-author and colleague named Blake Harith and published just last month. The paper's called, and I promise this is real, the paper's called Beneficial Blood Sucking. Here's how it begins. Quote, the bite of the Lone Star tick spreads alpha-gal syndrome, AGS, a condition whose only effect is the creation of a severe but non-fatal red meat allergy. Public health departments warn against Lone Star ticks and AGS, and scientists are working to develop an inoculation to AGS. Herein, we argue that if eating meat is morally impermissible, then efforts to prevent the spread of tick-borne AGS are also morally impermissible. Promoting tick-borne AGS is strongly pro tanto obligatory. It is presently feasible to genetically edit the disease-carrying capacity of ticks. If this practice can be applied to ticks carrying AGS, then promoting the proliferation of tick-borne AGS is morally obligatory. The article continues, we should promote a particular tick-borne syndrome, alpha-gal syndrome, AGS. So yes, according to Parker Crutchfield, who teaches at a medical school, we have a moral obligation to genetically modify ticks so that they spread AGS. It is morally wrong to stop the spread of AGS.
This is what I'm talking about, right? This is what I'm talking about. Oh my God, I'm a vegan. I only want to eat vegetables. Okay, I'm going to eat my burger. I'm going to infect you so you can't eat burgers anymore. What kind of fucking insane shit is that? That's like cartoon villain shit. You know what I mean? That's fucking insane, bro. That's insane. Like, if you want to do that, then fine. Just leave me out of it. That's what I'm saying. Leave me the fuck alone. But you want to infect fucking insects to, like, infect everyone with a disease that forces them to do what you want? These people are so fucking violent. They're the most violent people in this world. That's actually crazy. Yeah, that's like, you want to talk about Hitler shit? That's Hitler shit. What the hell?
And notice what he writes at the beginning. He claims that AGS creates a non-fatal red meat allergy, and therefore, in his view, it's fine to spread it to as many people as we possibly can. Now, first of all, even if AGS was indeed non-fatal, this still wouldn't make it any sense, nor would it be remotely moral or ethical. You don't get to infect people with...
I'm just curious, guys. What is the argument for being vegan? Like, really, I really want to debate a vegan on this, because I literally don't know. Like, what is the argument? Yeah, what is it? What's the suffering? Okay, well, what do you mean? What do you mean by suffering? Is it because it's taking life? So do plant lives not matter? Oh, why don't plant lives matter? In fact, there's only one thing you could eat at that point. There's only one food that you could eat is fruit. Fruit is the only food that you could ethically eat if you don't want to kill people. You don't want to kill things. You don't want to kill things, you have to eat fucking fruit, because plants willingly give you the fruit. Everything else is slavery. Then eating animals is cruelty? Yeah, well then, yeah, so what are you going to do? You're going to prevent all the carnivores? You're going to kill all the carnivores? What are we going to do? What, you're going to kill all the cats? Yeah? You're going to kill all the cats? Because cats have to eat meat, so you're going to kill them all? Yeah. Huh? What about that, huh? That's what I want to know. Well, if it's cruelty, then why aren't we preventing it? Waste, pollution, climate change, humane. That's the three. Climate change. Climate change. I'm trying to see, like, can I argue climate change on their own terms? Can I argue the meat climate change thing to their own terms? I guess what I could ask them is like, okay, so you're telling me, yes? Oh, I'm so sorry. My mom said it was really loud. I was like kind of fidgeting. But so hold on. I guess what I would ask them is, okay, say in the hypothetical world, if like we develop technology that counteracts climate change and like it's no longer a problem, then can I eat meat? Would they say yes to that? Because if they say no, then climate change is not the issue. Yeah, I'd really love to actually talk to a vegan about this, like for real. And guys, when I say I want to talk to a vegan, I don't mean the person that just like, I just don't like eating meat, man. I'm just like, I just personally don't like it. Like I just like, you know, I just like tofu. Tofu tastes really good, and that's what I like to eat. Like whatever. It's just my personal thing. I just don't like the idea of eating anything from an animal. Just kind of freaks me out. Like, I'm totally fine with that. Like whatever. Like you want to do that, right? That's fine. But what I'm talking about is the people that do take a moral stand on it, that like try to say that you're immoral for eating meat. That's the kind of person I want to debate. Like I want to like kind of figure out what they believe. You know what I mean? I'm really curious, actually. If we are forced to stop eating meat, prey populations explode and outpace predator populations, and prey would then devour all of that and devour all the vegetation.
Life-altering illnesses against their will because you suffer from delusions about how red meat causes hurricanes or something, obviously. But Parker Crutchfield disagrees, so he wants to modify the genetic code of ticks
George
so that
Carlin
they
was
spread the
right,
disease.
says Banthaman.
And he doesn't stop there.
Thank
In
you.
a separate paper written in 2019, Crutchfield explains how precisely
I
he
don't know
wants
who
to
that
spread
is.
this allergy. He doesn't want anyone to know that it's happening. He wants it to take place in secret, so that no one is aware of the new pathogen until it's too late. Until, for example, people start dropping dead after eating a hamburger. So this is from another part.
So they want to kill people. They want this so bad that they're just willing to kill anybody that eats meat. That's crazy. That's so fucking crazy.
Article, paper entitled "Compulsory Moral Bioenhancement Should Be Covert." Quote, some theorists argue that moral bioenhancement ought to be compulsory. I take this argument one step
further. They should find these people and publicly execute them. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, I'm being 100% serious. They should get these people and publicly execute them by firing line. I'm not lying. It's necessary because this is really bad for society, for people to be using science to like create pathogens to fuck with people. This is like literally as vile as it gets, actually.
Further, arguing that if moral bioenhancement ought to be compulsory, its administration
basically
ought to be
eugenics,
covert rather than overt. This is to say that it is morally preferable for compulsory moral bioenhancement.
If these people are confirmed doing this, like if they actually catch them doing this, then yeah, they should do that. I'm not saying they should do this to people that's not confirmed. I'm saying if people are actually infecting, if they're infecting animals. So let me clarify, just in case people say, "Oh, Leaflit said to kill all the scientists." I didn't say that. What I'm saying is, if there's people that are bioengineering pathogens and trying to use, first off, bioengineering pathogens already to like basically make people sick. Even worse, if they're bioengineering pathogens that make people sick, and then trying to use like a vector, like an animal vector, in order to like spread it faster, and also trying to do this in secret. That's self-defense at that point, in my opinion. That's a broader version of self-defense. And I think society has a responsibility basically to catch these people and execute them.
Administered without the recipients knowing that they're receiving the enhancement. In particular, a covert compulsory program promotes values such as liberty, utility, equality, and autonomy better than an overt program does. Thus, a covert compulsory program is morally preferable to an overt moral bioenhancement program. Okay, so
they're basically saying to do it behind your back. See, they want to do it behind your back so you don't know. That's what I mean. This is the same kind of people, dude. These like biochemists that are like out of control. They need to be stopped immediately, like yesterday.
This is very dystopian, and it sounds almost fake. I mean, is this someone who's actually arguing that the moral way to, first of all, giving people a disease is a bioenhancement, and the most moral way of doing it, administering it, is
in secret behind your back with no consent. That's so fucking beyond any like. This is like beyond evil, basically.
Covertly, meaning against their will, and is he actually arguing
okay, never mind, just keep going.
That is the way to respect their liberty and privacy the most?
That's what I'm saying.
Because if you do something to somebody against their will
They're
without
forcing us to do shit against our will. Exactly. Using violence.
them knowing, then you haven't infringed on their liberty or freedom at all, is his argument. Is that actually real? Well, yes, it is. And at this point, I decided to look up some other writings from Parker Crutchfield, who, again, teaches ethics at a medical school. On Amazon, I came across this.
Of course he does. Of course they teach ethics because they're the good people. Of course they're the nice guys. Of course, every time. They're so nice. Just ask everyone online. Ask them how nice they are.
Review of his book, quote, this
You're a
author is
fucking
genuinely dangerous and has no business
exactly.
teaching impressionable minds. The author believes themselves to be some arbiter of moral authority, and he has the right to make decisions for humanity based on his twisted vision. Everything Parker writes is a confession. Heed his words because I suspect a large portion of academia actually agrees with him, but to say the quiet part out loud and proudly is jarring to say the least.
That's how it's been lately, dude. All of the darkest, most evil people in this world have suddenly gained they've gained like unlimited levels of confidence to just say this shit like publicly. Like, this is fucking so crazy. Yeah, like what is happening? Like this last couple of years has been insane. It's like actually insane, man. Like,
but again,
and then they turn around. They turn around and they tell you that you're the evil one. The gaslighting is fucking beyond anything I could. The gaslighting is just off the charts.
This particular academic isn't the only person saying things like this. It's become fashionable in leftist circles to make this same argument. This is a post I pulled from Reddit, for example, from 7 years ago. Quote, modifying an insect's genome so that it produces alpha-gal in its saliva is one of the simplest genetic edits, especially as ticks and mammals provide a genetic template. Using this technology to cause all or the most common biting insects to cause meat allergies would have numerous benefits, including reduction in meat consumption in sufferers and reduction in greenhouse gas.
Anyone who agrees with the vegetarian moral reduction in meat consumption in sufferers, anyone who agrees with vegetarian moral arguments will see the moral benefit here. So hold on, their morality basically. Their morality is that they can bioengineer you to do what they want. So what's next, huh? Oh, you're thinking a little bit too. You know what, gun mage over there on Kick. You're thinking a little bit too conservative. You know, your brain. You're thinking a little bit too independently. It's a little dangerous. You know, we might have to bioengineer your ass. You know what I mean? Like, what is this? How are they saying this on Maine, dude? Psycho Milkman, thank you for the prime. Thank you so much. And hello, Peter asked a question. Where is the sorry son? Is she on the mission? She's working right now. Oh, I don't know. She's in a room or something. But man, I've had a bit too much to drink. Me? Does it seem like? Are we talking to me, Precure? I don't know. Dude, how is this? How did people get so evil? How did people get so evil? How did this happen?
Emissions. Meat is a major source of emissions. Now, you might say that Reddit isn't much of a source and, we can't read much into that post. And you're right about that. But the post made one good point, which is that modifying a tick's genome apparently isn't that difficult. A few years ago, researchers from Penn State and the University of Maryland discovered a new way to genetically modify ticks. This is an article from 2022 summarizing the findings. Quote, breakthrough makes editing tick genome a reality. For the first time, researchers have successfully edited the tick genome at the embryo stage, an achievement that may one day help scientists alter parts of the genome responsible for ticks acquiring and spreading harmful pathogens. Now, on the surface, just like the research that was going on in Wuhan, on the surface, may sound well-intentioned, above board. And they say this is
Guys,
about...
do you think we're going to find out in you guys are going to think we're going to find out in 20 years that fucking COVID did some fucking shit to us? What do you guys think? You think we're going to find out in 20 years that anyone infected with COVID has some fucking shit in their fucking DNA now? Dude, it's like they made everyone drink the wine from fucking the fucking wine with Zeke's spinal fluid.
Preventing the spread of diseases. Who wouldn't want to prevent the spread of diseases? But you have to wonder if there might be some catastrophic consequences from messing around with tick genomes, especially given the possible role of scientific experiments in creating Lyme disease several decades ago. Last year, the HHS Secretary RFK Jr., stated that gain-of-function research is a disaster that has, quote, given us everything from Lyme disease to COVID and many other diseases. And of course, for saying that, RFK was labeled a nut job. And my goal here is not to litigate the question of whether or not Lyme disease was created by military experiments in the 60s and 70s. There's a book on the topic called Bitten by Chris Newby that outlines the case for that theory if you're interested in the details. For one thing, it was awfully suspicious that a U.S. government facility conducting biological experiments called the Plum Island Animal Disease Center was located less than 20 miles from Old Lyme, Connecticut, where the sudden explosion of the disease took place. So what does that remind you of? Well, regardless of what you think about the origins of Lyme disease, my point is simply this. When you have an unexplained dead body in a highly unusual circumstance, one of the first questions any good investigator asks is, who had a motive to kill this person? And that's the case with that airline pilot in New Jersey. He died in an extraordinarily unusual way, and several prominent bioethics researchers channeling the WEF openly admitted their motivation to infect him, to infect us, with the disorder that led to his death.
Yep.
Now, that doesn't mean they did it. That also doesn't mean that the ongoing genetic experiments on ticks, which are taking place all over the country, had necessarily anything to do with the man's death. But it does mean we're entitled to a full explanation on what exactly these researchers...
Dude, it's getting to the point in society, like, you ever watch, like, you know, shit like Batman, where it's like the city and, like, society is so fucked up that you need, like, a superhero? That's fucking, like, what we need, dude. We need Batman to just, like, kick the shit out of these people. Like, just being real. This is beyond, like, our control at this point.
Doing to ticks and what risks these experiments pose to the rest of us.
Like, if they're actually doing that, again, like, if I'm, you know, this is like, I'm not saying that we do anything to them now, obviously, just, you know, for the record, because people are going to take what I'm saying out of context. I'm trying to be as clear as possible. Basically, if they are doing this, if they are spreading this disease on purpose and killing people with the disease, then yes, Batman should kick the shit out of them.
And there's been very little transparency about that. The fact remains that a large group of very powerful leftists would rather kill us than allow us to eat meat. I mean, that's very simple.
That's crazy.
They'd also rather lie to us than tell us the truth about their scientific experiments.
They're so evil,
whether those experiments involve bats or ticks or anything else. And in an environment like that, the words conspiracy theorist just have no...
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. When they say that when people like this, like, they say that I'm evil and that I'm a bad person, honestly, it's a fucking compliment at this point. Fucking thank you. Thank you. I know I'm bad to you. I know.
The complete erosion of confidence in our public health authorities has led us to this point. We should have some degree of faith that our public health officials will actually work to prevent the spread of illnesses, this illness in particular, or any illness, and to prevent as many deaths as they possibly can. We should have some confidence that their research is going to help people rather than kill them. But
they're too useless. They're too busy finding out about gay lobsters.
We don't have that confidence. We have no reason to have that confidence. Regardless of who's responsible for the new spread of this latest disease, if anyone's responsible, you know, we all know that a lot of scientists and experts are actually happy about the fact that an innocent man just died because he ate a hamburger. They're getting all sorts of ideas about how to save the climate and save the cows and so on. And after years of lockdowns and mass death in this country, we all know exactly where those ideas can lead. Now let's get to our 5 headlines.
Some raw old gold levels of evil, bro. Who do you think's more evil, like Lopan or these people? What do you guys think? This is some fucking gold shit, man. What the hell? Man, that's so crazy, dude. Dude, I just, man, I'm so tired, bro. I miss the time. I miss the time where it was like, man, I disagree with your policy slightly because I think that this is going to be better for people. Like, I really think that, like, you know, we got to do this thing because I think, like, this thing will get a better result. And it's like, oh, no, but I don't really agree because of that reasons A and B. Like, I think, like, C would be better because we would have a better result for people. Like, look at, like, this would make it so that more people prosper or something like that, right? I miss that over, like, yo, let's, you know what I think we should do? You should stop eating meat. Why? I like eating meat. Well, I'm gonna infect some fucking insects that you get allergic to meat and you die if you eat it. Man, what the fuck? How did this happen?